everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're enjoying your week. I know I am not, because it is October 9th and it's like feels like 28 outside. What is wrong with you, Canada? So today's gonna be a random unboxing because I somehow accumulated several boxes. Some of those were my orders from Indigo and some of those are something sent to me by publishers, and also some other stuff that I struggle to identify right now, but I'm very excited to open everything on camera. I thought it would be a fun video, and I love unboxings. What can be better than an unboxing, especially if you know that there are books inside. And if I look pale and sleep deprived, that is because I am. So all of these boxes are in no particular order. If they are from the publisher or somebody else, I will definitely mention it. If it's my order, I will say so. So let's get on with it. Okay, the first box that I have here is from Indigo, so it means it is my order. I pre-ordered several books, several releases in September and October. I did part of my book haul unboxings in September, and this is one of my orders in October, and oh my god, I'm super excited. The first book that I have here is Becky Albertalli's and Adam Silvera's What If It's Us, and this is a signed first edition exclusive to Indigo, and I'm just so excited to read this book. I read, oh my god, look at this. Can you see those signatures? They're so adorable, basically just like the authors themselves. So as you know, most probably, because I think a lot of people got this book as a narc, I did not, but I cannot wait to read it. So I read Becky Albertalli's Simon vs. Homo Sapiens Agenda, which I absolutely love. It was one of the very few contemporary books, YA contemporary books, that I adored on spot, and I gave it 5 stars. I read it, I think, the same year it came out, or maybe the year after, but I know that it was quite a recent release when I read it. And of course I read Adam Silvera's More Happy Than Not, which blew me away because it was once again another type of YA book that I never expected to read, and I loved it. I do have other 2 books by both Becky and Adam. Actually, there are 2 of Adam's books that I have that he released after the More Happy Than Not, but I'm still very behind and I have not caught up with them. But I'm very curious about this book. I heard quite surprisingly mixed reviews about this book, because I know that some of the chapters that were written by one of the authors did not fit very well within the narrative. I'm very curious to see how my opinion falls within the spectrum of all reviews, because I find it fascinating when there are 2 authors collaborating on the same project, because obviously it always affects the project, and I'm very curious. But I know that I love the books that they are debut novels, and so I have very high hopes of loving this book as well. Next, I have a book called The Boneless Mercies by April Genevieve Tacholke, and here's a bit of an unpopular opinion on my part. I read Wink Poppy Midnight by April Genevieve Tacholke, and I freaking love that book. That book is very underappreciated from my opinion, and I see that there are like a lot of not so great reviews on Goodreads, and the rating overall on Goodreads is not so great, but I read that book and it blew me away because the writing style was so similar to what I write as a writer, not as a blogger. So I decided to pick up other books by the same author. This is a new release, release of 2018, October. I don't really know much about this book except for it's a freaking stunning cover, plus it's blurred by Laini Taylor, so this is giving me hope. And I mean, I know that there are instances when you might like one book by the author and hate another book by the same author. I'm looking at you, Neil Gaiman. And overall, I'm very hopeful that I will love this book. Plus, it looks very epic, and it's supposed to be dark and involve some sort of a saga. And it has to do with an ancient ballad. I don't really know much more than that, I'm afraid, but I cannot wait to check it out. I know next to nobody who read this book, so I'm looking forward to seeing what I think about it. Okay, next I have this parcel which came from Penguin Random House. Penguin Random House Canada, and does not really say who it's from. So I have 2 contacts at Penguin Random House, and I get different types of books from both of them, so I have no clue what these might be inside. I usually request Penguin books. They don't usually send me anything unsolicited. However, since they send out, for example, their upcoming releases for the following month, like a month ahead, I have no clue what, oh, maybe I do know what this one is. And the book that I have here is The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker, and this is a retelling of Iliad, Iliad by Homer, but from the perspective of Helen, so it's from the perspective of women. I was invited to the fall preview of upcoming releases at Penguin Random House headquarters, and I was there which day it was? It was last Tuesday, so it was just a week ago, and they mentioned this book, and I already had this book on my list of the books that I really wanted to read, and when they were talking about it, they said that it's very feminist, that it's very on point, and that it just gives a slightly different perspective on the same situations like Troy and what happened in Troy, because pretty much all of the ancient myths and all of the ancient legends are told primarily from masculine or male perspectives, and women very often serve as like props or background figures that are getting killed, raped, you know, married off to somebody else or sent to hell, whatever. It's just women's fate is not very fortunate in those myths and legends, so it would be very interesting to see the retelling of that book. Plus, as you can see, the cover is pretty good. I really like this cover, and this book is actually thicker than I expected. Let me see how many pages it has. It has over 300 pages, so it kind of looks bigger than it is. The font is relatively, no, it's kind of like medium size, but I'm not really sure when I will get to this book, to be completely honest, because I have a lot of books on kind of like a back burner at the moment because I'm super busy. However, I do want to read it, especially since obviously I read Iliad and I read a lot of Greek myths and legends, because I studied both Greek mythology and other types of mythology, as well as ancient literature at the university. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one at some point. Okay, next I have this parcel, which it comes from Create Space. So it is addressed to me, but to be completely honest, I do not know what's inside. So Create Space is obviously a company that belongs to Amazon. Oh, okay. Got it. I was approached by one of the indie self-published authors. His name is J.P. Harker. At least I assume it's a he. I'm sorry. And I was approached to read and review his book, which is called Wildcat, Book 1 of the Caledon Saga. It's a hefty bit. Whoa, that's quite a book. That's quite a book. It's over. Yeah, I was actually warned that this book is going to be over 500 pages, but it's kind of thick. Wow. So this is a self-published fantasy novel, and I love this cover. Look at this cover, man. So, since I don't remember the synopsis by heart, I'll read you whatever I have at the back of the book. I, in advance, apologize for misreading any of the names because, as you know, I struggle with names, and these are fantasy names, which makes it even more difficult for me. Branwen of the Gathering is conflicted about giving up a warrior's life to become a wife and mother, but her love for her new husband is enough to at least make her consider it. However, with the conquering Gaians moving ever closer to her homeland, a peaceful way may no longer be an option for Rhea or for any of her people. With the rival tribes, old suitors, and the dangerous General Lepidus to contend with, Rhea soon finds her new family in unprecedented danger, and her choices now must be about more than just herself. Okay, I am all for female protagonists, especially in like badass female protagonists. You know, I love those. Yeah, this book looks very hefty. However, the margins are fairly big and the font is fairly big, which gives me hope that it's still not that bad. I mean, like in terms of the volume. We'll see. Maybe I will take it with me when I fly, because I'm going away on vacation, which is gonna be vacation slash work trip, and I might start reading this on the plane, who knows. I'm very thankful to the author for sending me a copy for review, especially a physical copy. I always appreciate it more so. I know how hard it is and how difficult it is to find reviewers for your books, especially when you're indie and self-published author. So I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for sending me this, and I hope that I'll get to it by the end of the year. But I freaking love this cover. Man, okay, just give it a look once again. She does look like a cat. I approve. Next, I have this box from Indigo, which means this is my order. Let's have a look. Since it's a box, it means there's more than one book. Coffee break. Okay, so I have 3 books here, and the first one is the one that I'm very excited about. This is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. Ever since I saw this book mentioned by Sam from Sam's Nonsense channel, she really enjoyed it. This is an adult fantasy which is based on Russian folklore, and I do trust Sam's opinion when it comes to fantasy books. So she read, I think, pretty much the whole trilogy, or maybe, well, the 3rd book came out, or is coming out quite soon, so I'm pretty sure Sam read pretty much most of it. And all of her praises and her praise to this series made me really curious about it. However, as you know, I'm always wary when someone has taken on the culture that they do not belong to and try to write a book based on it. We do have some other authors that took upon Russian culture and Russian folklore and tried to spin YA fantasy series based on, obviously talking about the Krisha trilogy, and I'm talking about the Crown Game by Evelyn Skye. I read the first book in the Krisha trilogy, and I read the Crown Game by Evelyn Skye. I enjoyed both of them, but I also had some problems with the culture representation in those books. Because of that, I've been really hesitant to pick up this book. However, about 2 weeks ago now, I was very fortunate to be invited by Penguin Random House Canada to a book signing by Catherine Arden, and that was for the book called Small Spaces. That is a middle grade horror story, or like supernatural story, which I got a copy of, and I freaking loved it. I loved that book so much. I read it in 2 sittings. I'm still gonna talk about it in my September wrap-up, but that book was phenomenal. I loved it like to the ends of the world. I liked all the references in it. I liked all the characters, and when I got to meet Catherine Arden and got to ask some questions about how she was writing that book, and then kind of restored my faith, and now I'm really curious to check this trilogy. So I really wanted to pick up my copy at the bookstore and get it signed by Catherine, but they only had paperbacks in stock, and I really wanted to get a hardback, so I got it from Indigo. Obviously not signed, but at least I have that middle grade novel signed by her, and I cannot wait to read it. So obviously it is based on Russian folklore, like I said, and all I know is that at the very beginning it also has a quote from a Russian poet, Pushkin, and that was kind of the thing that really drew me to this book. So I'm really looking forward to reading it. Once again, not sure when it's gonna happen, but I really wanted to get my hands on this copy, and yeah, it's a beautiful cover, and I really want to have all of the books in hardback. Let's just hope I will not get let down, because I'm pretty sure I will not, but you know how it goes with culture representations. Next in that order, I ordered this book, and you can probably all guess why I ordered it. So this is Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa, and if I am not mistaken, this is a YA fantasy or supernatural series, new book in a trilogy, and it has to do about fox shifters. And I mean, how could I not? Plus Look at this absolutely gorgeous cover. Oh my god, I love this cover. It's even if it's gonna be a cover buy, I'm okay with that. I have not read anything by the same author before, so if you read any of the books by her, please let me know down below. But this book kept popping up on my feed on Bookstagram, I believe, so I'm really curious to see what I think about it when I get to it. Obviously, I believe it has to do with Asian culture, if I'm not mistaken, Japanese culture, because if as you know, kitsune, and which is fox in Japanese, is very famous protagonist in different Japanese folklore. So I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I don't know really anything else about it, but for me that's enough, because foxes. That's the reason. And another book that I have in that order might surprise you. First of all, because it's mass market paperback, which I buy very few of, and besides, this is Stephen King, The Shining. I don't think I've ever read The Shining. I never watched the movie, but I know the plot, which makes me less apprehensive about reading it. However, since there were several references to Stephen King books in some other books and from some people that I know, so quite recently I've been hearing a lot about Stephen King, maybe in conjunction with some of the books that were discussed at the fall preview at Penguin Random House, maybe also due to the fact that a lot of my friends read and really enjoyed Stephen King's books, and I only ever read the Pet Sematary and the Dark Tower series. And I have not really read any other horror books by Stephen King. And besides, I checked Kindle, and the price of a Kindle book was more than the mass market paperback. And I was like, well, might as well, because physical copy of the book is always better than a Kindle book, in my opinion. I like the cover, but actually the text is not too small, which is great. And it's still very thick for a mass market. It's like over 500 pages. Gosh, I'm almost scared thinking about reading this book, even though I know the plot. Yeah, if you read The Shining and you did not have nightmares, please leave me a message down below. Next, I have another parcel from Penguin Random House, and it says on sale date October 23rd. By the way, about that previous book from Penguin Random House, I'm actually not sure when it's coming out. I just assume it's October, because I know it was October release, but I'm not sure about the date. I'm sorry, I'll provide it down below if I know it. So there's something in there. I know what it is! Dear Lord, I'm such a kid. Okay, I know who this is from, and I'm super excited, so if you're watching, thank you so much, Sam. That made my day. Look at this book. Dear Lord, I know what I will be reading today. So, I'm not a fox. This is a children's book, obviously, picture book about a dog, which is not like a fox, but it looks like a fox. Oh my god, I'm super excited. Thank you so much for sending me this. I don't know how it started, but I started basically to collect books with foxes on the cover. As you can tell, I mean, when it comes to adult books, it's kind of understandable that I'm gonna read them, but when it comes to picture books and children books, it's kind of funny. But I found a lovely person at Penguin Random House who totally appreciates my love for children's books and middle grade and all of that, and she said that she will be on a lookout for all Fox books from now on, and she sent me this one and I almost forgot about it. Oh my god, this is so adorable. I'm dying. I want to read it right now because I need good feelings. I'm not a fox. Thank you, Penguin Random House. You made my day. At the back it says, everyone thinks Luca is a fox, but he is not. Is he? Dun dun dun. Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun reading this. Okay guys, this is it. These are all the books that I got in this quite random unboxing. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know down below if you read any of the books that I showed you. I know that most of them are most recent releases, but maybe you had an opportunity to read an arc or you just heard of them. Please share your opinions. I will really appreciate it. But otherwise, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you very soon. Bye! I cannot even fit this into the frame. This is totally a fake shot because this is only half of the boxes that I have. But those ups and downs in temperature are actually absolutely atrocious. I cannot even talk right now. I'm so appalled by it. This evening, not this morning. I will never get rid of this garbage. And by garbage, I mean obviously the boxes that I will open and not actually what is inside of them. And I should be... yep. You see, I colored my hair red again. It's not permanent, but I just love it. This is my favorite color, and I think it fits my lipstick and fills the fall. Unfortunately, our weather is not very autumn-like. Oh, God. I just love when I blink out on book names. I hope I'm in the focus. Please. Yeah, I cannot even see. Is it Penelope who is narrating this one? I don't know why I thought it was from Penelope's point of view. No, it's Helen. Obviously, it's Helen. And once again, I apologize for the noise. I live in downtown Toronto. It's super busy here. I live across the hospital, so helicopters and ambulances. This is my life. I can totally read the word unprecedented. Unprecedented. I blame lack of sleep. What is with my intonation going up and down?